because, no. Obviously, the only part of the scalp, and we know the acronym for the scalp, only parts we can touch are the hair and the skin. We can't touch anything below that. So let's just, right off the bat, go for the bones of the skull. So frontal bone, right here, goes up to about the receding hairline area. So frontal bone, parietal up high, both sides. Remember, we got the fissure down the center, which separates. And then we have the occipital bone, the back of the head. So occipital bone actually has a little bump in the back. It's called the occipital protuberance. You need to be able to find that. And the dead center point has a special name that we'll talk about in the next section. So we have frontal, parietal, occipital. Down here, we have the temporal bone, which comes behind the ears a little bit and over. Temporal bone leads to the zygomatic arch, which is the cheekbone. Some people will call that the zygomatic bone all by itself. Others will call it the zygomatic arch of the temporal bone, right to here. And then this is another part. Those are the main bones of the skull. We know the ethmoid is deep within the eye socket, and the sphenoid, you would have to decrown the person, remove the brain to palpate the sphenoid. There is a location right about here in deep underneath all the soft tissue where the sphenoid is, but realistically you can't palpate it. So those are the skull bones. Now facial bones, we have the maxilla, which goes from here to here, and we have the zygomatic arch of the maxilla, the other half of the zygomatic bone. We have our nasal bones right here. We've got a right and a left. We have our mandible coming down. This is the ramus, the angle, and the body. We did forget to mention two parts of the temporal bone, so I'm going to have you face that direction for me. So, yeah, perfect. So back here, the big bump behind the ear, that's the mastoid process. And then between the mastoid and the ear, right here, it's actually quite uncomfortable as I palpate in between. That's the location of the styloid process. Okay? Go ahead and stop video.